This is how you're actually going to scale your home bakery for more orders without doubling your time. Let's be real, you don't have that much time as it is. I know this from experience because back when I was taking custom orders, my max that I could handle was 3 orders a weekend. And when I looked at what my financial goals were for the month, I realized that I would have to charge exorbitant prices per cake order in order to reach that goal. So I did a little reverse engineering and I realized at my average price per order, I would have to make anywhere from 10 to 15 cakes per week in order to meet that financial goal. Now keep in mind, my max that I could do was 3 orders a week. So how was I supposed to make that work? Well, after 6 years of running my bakery, I have finally cracked the code on how to scale your bakery without having to double your hours in manpower. And the key to all of this is in your systems and processes. Okay, so what does it even mean to really scale your business? I used to hear people use that term all the time, but I could not figure out what that actually meant. What does scaling your business look like and what does that mean? So in simple terms, scaling your business is basically growing your business. So whereas right now you may be taking 1 to 2 orders a week or maybe even a month. So scaling your business would mean taking your business from 1 to 2 orders a week or a month to 5 to 10 orders a week or a month. And the process of going from here to there is called scaling your business, which in simple terms, is just growing your business. And there are many ways that you're able to scale your business, but for today, we're gonna be focusing specifically on your systems and processes. So the first thing you're gonna do to scale your home bakery is start preparing as much as you can ahead of time. I often see a lot of bakers and they're like, I do everything on the same day. And it's like, that's good for you, but do you know that it could be better? And that certainly isn't what bakers who take on high volume are doing either. If you really truly want to scale your business, you have to do as much as you can ahead of time. And that includes preparing any packaging, any labels, weighing and measuring out your ingredient, making any fillings ahead of time, taking inventory on everything that you're gonna need for your orders coming up that week, and then purchasing your ingredients and supplies to make sure you have everything on hand. Anything that can be done in advance to set you up for the week is going to help you scale your business much faster and be able to take on more orders. This isn't just about saving yourself time, but it's also about saving your mental and physical energy. Because if you're already maxing yourself out with low orders, how are we supposed to make it into the world of high volume orders? You have to help yourself get ahead. The next thing that you're gonna do to scale your business is start task batching. This is where you're doing all of the similar tasks at the same time. So you're gonna do all of your labels all in one go. You're going to get all of your ingredients all in one go. But then this also expands into your actual process when you actually start baking and decorating your product. If you've been following along with my Day in the Life series where I've been making hundreds of mini cakes per order, you'll see that I'm often task batching where I'm doing all of the same thing in one go rather than jumping around from place to place to place. And an example of me doing that is I ice all of my mini cakes at one time. So when they all come out of the oven, they're all ready and I go through and I ice all of my cookie butter cakes. I'm icing all of my strawberry cakes and then I ice all of my chocolate cakes. Taking a day where you bake all of your cakes in one go is a form of task batching. Then having a day where you make all of your buttercreams and all of your fillings, that is a form of task batching. Stacking and filling all of your cakes before going on to decorating the cakes. Those are all forms of task batching, and it's basically your brain getting into what's called a flow state. And there's actual scientific studies behind what happens to your brain when you unlock that flow state, which is basically allowing your brain to focus on one activity at a time. And it's like your brain turns into superpower mode. And it's just so healthy for you to be able to do much better work. So when you're in the flow state, that allows for your mind to be able to focus on one thing at a time. And it's able to do its best at that one thing, which is often why you hear people tell you to remove distractions while you're working on things. Because that constant interruption of your mind, icing this cake, then putting this into the oven, and then mixing this batch of buttercream and just jumping from thing to thing, it's like a reset of your mind every single time, which is causing you to have to produce more energy and wears you out faster, and it slows you down in your processes versus getting into the flow state and just allowing your mind to focus on these simple tasks. And when you're able to do that, you're able to improve your efficiency, you get faster, you get better at what you're doing. I actually learned this in a productivity masterclass by Ali Abdul on Skillshare, which is the sponsor of today's video. In that class, he teaches you all the different tools that you can use to become more productive in your day-to-day life and your business, which is super helpful for us as solo bakers to be able to efficiently run our businesses and be able to scale them up as we grow. And Skillshare has a variety of classes to help you stay inspired and build creative momentum. Skillshare is the largest online learning community for creatives with a lot of creative topics. There are thousands of creative classes in countless categories ranging from beginner to advanced, with categories including illustration, design, animation, film, photography, entrepreneurship, and more. Skillshare classes are taught by industry experts and has a learn by doing approach to teaching where members can create and share a project after completing a class. It's an on-demand platform with stackable lessons so members can learn at their own pace no matter their skill level. Members have access to classes like this class that teaches you how to use Google Calendar more effectively. There's a lot of product and food photography classes like this product and food photography, lighting, gear, styling, editing, and more class. Dark and moody food photography for Instagram success class. There's so much that you can learn on Skillshare that can help grow your business. And it's all about working on your business and creating daily habits that's going to push you forward. If you're interested in learning on Skillshare, the first 500 people to use my link in the description will receive a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. So take control of your learning and get started today. The next thing that you're gonna do to scale your business is to start creating workflows for yourself. If you're still trying to figure out what to do in the middle of your baking, that's going to be a big hindrance to your growth. So the way that you're going to start building workflows is you're going to start paying attention and documenting everything that you do when you're making your products. This is from start to finish. This is going to help you to see the way that you work in your business and find places where you can create a systemized workflow to help you improve your efficiency and time. This all ties back into task batching to help you get into that flow state. So some examples of workflows is you know that on the first day of the week is the day that you're going to take inventory and order all of your ingredients and supplies and put them away. You know that the next day you're going to prep all of your dry and wet ingredients, and you know the next day you're going to batch and create all of your cakes, and then another day you're going to batch and create all of your buttercream and fillings. These are all considered workflows, but then you also have workflows within those workflows. So like a workflow that I use when making my mini cakes is I start by making a batch of batter. I fill up those mini cake pans, put them in the oven. While those are baking, I start on my next batch of batter, fill the mini cake pans. When those mini cakes that are in the oven come out, then I'm able to put those back in. And I will continue that workflow in that process over and over again. And it helps me to stay focused on the one task at hand, get into a flow state, and be able to whip out hundreds of mini cakes in just a short amount of time. So your sub workflows can be things like your mixing sequence, like I just said, but you can also have a decorating sequence where you go through and you task batch by base coating all of your cakes and then going back through and adding all of the details. The key here is to establish a pattern of habit that gets you into the flow state. Creating a workflow for your business is how you're going to be able to get more done in less time without feeling exhausted at the end, because let's be real, it's going to be a lot of work, but you can minimize that work with your workflows. This is the superpower secret that all professional bakeries have been keeping from you. Now, the last tip that I'm going to leave you with if you want to scale your business is to maximize your downtime. I think we've probably all been there before where you put your cake in the oven and you have about 30 minutes for it to bake up, and you decide to go and sit down and you start scrolling on Instagram, and then it's time to take your cake out, but now you don't feel like doing anything else. Did you know that that's actually 30 to 45 minutes of time that you could have been doing something else in your business, like cleaning the kitchen? We want to maximize our downtime and reduce any other distractions, because again, we want to keep our mind in that flow state so that we can be as efficient and practical as we possibly can. So you can use any downtime for things like cleaning your area. Maybe you can record your social media content, create social media posts, respond to customers, anything in that time to maximize it so it's not just going to waste. And another thing that's not often mentioned that is effective in maximizing your downtime is actually eating food. You can use that time to actually fuel and nourish your body, because I know how it is. A lot of us get to working and then we end up not eating. That's actually not the best thing for our bodies. So maybe we can pencil in time for us to eat and nourish our bodies during that extra downtime that we may have. These systems aren't just about working less, but it's about creating systems for growth. Because when you're not drowning in the day-to-day of your business, you now have the time to actually focus on scaling your business without having to put in 80 hours a week. So now, my Baker CEO friend, it is time for you to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to check out Skillshare. I'll have the link in the description below. And remember, the difference between being a struggling and a thriving baker is all about the systems and workflows you implement in your business. Until next time, friends, peace.